All right, everybody, welcome to the TimeOut podcast. We've got Ollie and Vince, as usual. So we're here today to talk sports and have fun. So, Ollie, what's up, man?
Man, we've been working. Um, yeah, it's been a whole lot of work, a lot of motion. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I hear you,
slow
man. I
motion,
hear you.
slow motion is still motion. You feel me? Keep stacking days, people. Keep stacking
Let's get
days.
it, man.
That's what I've
Yep,
been doing. I've been stacking my days, man.
yep. So let's get it. We're gonna start with what? Soccer, because we have a lot of basketball. So soccer it is. Um, First soccer topic. Did you happen to catch any Champions League games this week?
Besides the Man City, besides the Man City massacre. Nah,
I'm not gonna talk about that yet. But I caught the Milan. I don't even know how you say that team name. Fainwood or whatever. That match again was decided by a red card. And I mean I don't understand. Sometimes referees have to do what they gotta do.
hmm
Again, I hate when high stakes matches are decided by a
by refs.
referee decision.
hmm
I really, really, really hate that. But I think Milan tried their best to get the qualifier, but they could not.
hmm
It ended 1-1. They lost 1-0 for the first round, for the first
hmm
leg. So the other team qualify on aggregate, which again referee decision, unfortunately. But it was a very good game. Like Milan has a few United States player. They have Christian Pulisic. They have another guy. I cannot remember the name. Those guys show up and show. They play really really well. They just could not find the net, unfortunately. But they did try their best to get the qualifier, and it did not happen. Now, the other thing that happened in the Champions League was PSG. That was a massacre. 7-0. That was a massacre. Like
Do we have any?
seven.
Are any of our viewers PSG fans? I don't think so.
I don't think we have any PSG fans anymore because
Oh,
Mbappe is no longer there
ah, ah.
anymore. Neymar is no longer there. Mbappe is no longer there. Messi is no longer there. So no PSG fans anymore. But they are playing quite high quality football. The surprise for me in the Champions League was Atalanta. I cannot believe and understand how they got eliminated. They did not even win one leg. They cost a lot of people that I know money.
Why? I'm not gonna get into betting. I'm not
I'm
gonna
not,
get into.
but the reason why people believe in them, they had a wonderful season last year, and Atalanta was in the semifinals last year. Can you imagine?
That
And
was last year.
they won the Europa League last year again, and they started the year strong. They started the year this year very very strong. But I don't know what happened in the Champions League, bro. They did not win one leg, and they got eliminated very 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 quickly.
So well, we'll have to examine that really. What? Because they were ninth in the standings.
Hmm.
I mean,
But I mean, okay, do the standing really reflect the quality of football you're playing besides Barcelona? I mean, Barcelona deserve to be qualified like from the get-go
yeah,
because they're playing high-level football. But
yeah,
when you take, for example, when you take Real Madrid, they had a few games where a few mishaps happened and they ended up being in the barrage. But I don't think
yeah.
because
I
you
think it's a
you were
reflection
not.
of the. Well, I'll ask this: Do you
Hmm.
think? Because just by looking at the standings, I could
Hmm.
understand why Real Madrid is where it's at, and
Atalanta.
Atalanta Atalanta is where
Hmm.
it's at, based off like how well they started the season and the momentum they were carrying, compared to Real Madrid, who were still figuring things out. You could say at the beginning of the season, and
Hmm.
then only recently, like, and when I say recently, I mean in the past couple months, they found their stride.
I'm not even gonna say they found their stride because it's still trial and error right now. And that's something I wanted to discuss. But when you look at the Italian Serie A table, Atalanta's third behind Napoli, behind Inter, and it's still anybody's table. They can still win it because Inter is leading with 57 points, Napoli has 56, and Atalanta has 54. So it's not like they've been playing crappy football. It's just from listening to journalists that are more savvy than me in soccer, it's just the other team was better. They were more organized. They played more organized soccer. And looking at the matches, you could see it. But bro, I gotta tell you this though. There's not a sports book in Vegas that give Bruges the win over Atalanta in both legs. Like if anybody risk, like let's say somebody woke up and it's from the city where Club Brugge is from, and they were like, I'm betting on my club, they made good money because nobody believed they could beat Atalanta. So because they were playing good football, and if on the first leg, one of my cousins, Atalanta cost him money, and we were talking, and I was like, why did you go with Atalanta? And he's like, bro, have you seen them play? They were playing good soccer and they've been winning. They've been on the winning side. And the team that won last year, they did not make much changes from that team. So you can debate and say the team got a little bit better. They probably got a couple of players they felt like were missing. Like what, for example, they probably got somebody they thought could add up to what they were missing last year. So they are doing good in this area. So I'm telling you, even Vegas did not give them the edge, and they did not win one game in those elimination games. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess maybe the other club was more organized. They played more organized soccer. They wanted it more. You can say anything. You can kind of debate anything, but
I mean,
man,
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of soccer.
that is the beauty of soccer. And with that, we're gonna
That's why I
transition.
don't
We are
bet.
going to transition to.
That's
That's why you don't bet.
why I don't bet.
I mean, I take my risks sometimes. But we're gonna talk about like Real Madrid now. Mbappe scored his first hat trick in the Champions League at the
Embarrassing.
Santiago Bernabeu
Embarrassing.
for Real Madrid.
No, embarrassing for Man City. My God. Just kidding.
Okay. Now I gotta play the devil's advocate. Is it really embarrassing
Two
or
ass.
City finally, yeah, I agree with you. It was embarrassing because they finally found the the net, and not even the net. They finally shot on the goal at the 76th minute.
Game's over. It was all. It was.
That's when they had one shot that was at the goal. It wasn't the score. They scored at the very, very, very end for the 21, but they found like they shot at they finally were a little bit threatening at the 76th minute. And honestly, I felt like it was a substitute that Ancelotti made that made them that caused them to be a little bit more menacing because from the first half to that 76 minute we are talking about,
Built
City
to.
was practically non-existent.
And that's what's embarrassing, because this was not one of those games where you're watching a team that's, where it's like today's not their day, where they're making all the right decisions, where they're moving the ball up the pitch, where they have shot attempts, where they're being aggressive, where they're
Hmm. Hmm.
even being aggressive on defense, where you're winning the ball back, you're making key tackles, key interceptions. That
So,
It was
um,
it was a it
although
man.
although people might say, yeah, but Real Madrid only scored 3 goals, but Real Madrid was very, very
You
menacing.
could it was one of those games if you saw what like if you were what
Mhm.
you could tell there was a team out there that was very comfortable, and it wasn't Man City.
It wasn't Man City. It wasn't Man City at all. Because I put the game on. I had a couple of meetings in the morning. I handle my meetings, and then I put the game on. I just went to heat up something to eat. When I came back, it was 1-0. Like, and then looking at the goal, the pass from that kid Asensio to Mbappe, it was like a flash pass. And Mbappe caught the ball in between two defenders to lob the goalkeeper. The goals were just beautiful, man. And very, very humiliating for City. Like the second goal where he crossed the defender and then curved the ball into the net and while he was celebrating, he looked at the guy down there, reminded me on Iverson when it stepped over Tyloo. So
Embarrassing. That's the
yeah, yeah.
I'll forever go back to that word. Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
So yo, and the thing is, I gotta I gotta play the devil's advocate because I
No, you
have a
don't.
couple of huh?
No, you don't.
No, I gotta try. That's the beauty
Even the
of
devil's
this.
like, hey man, I don't know. Like
Because what happened is I have a friend who is a Barcelona fan, like diehard Barcelona fan,
as you should be.
and obviously Barcelona fan. It's not you though. It's not you. Barcelona fans were rooting for City so they can talk shit when we got
Yes,
eliminated.
I was rooting for City so I could talk
First
shit.
round, we barely escaped with that win because we
Yeah.
won at the very, very, very end. Although Vinicius was magnificent in that game, second round Vinicius was not as magnificent as he was in the first game. But that's again, I'm gonna come back to Madrid. So my friend who was rooting for City, when Real won, I texted him was like, "You okay?" And he replies to me, "Ah man, come on. Guardiola is having a divorce right now. He's not focused on winning games." I'm
Fair
like,
point.
I'm
But
like,
no.
no, uh, no.
Now that's an advocate. That's an advocate right there. That's an advocate.
Like,
That's
yo,
an advocate.
so you mean to tell? It's like, yeah, because otherwise, why will you put that lineup? And he started pointing things that were wrong with the lineup. So you start with De Bruyne. De Bruyne cannot win, and then you put Bernardo Silva. He cannot tackle the way he used to. He cannot guard Vini. Vini's too fast. I'm like, but Vini did not play well. Yeah, but Rodrigo did. I'm like, okay, so now we
Now we're
switch.
switching up to yeah.
We're switching all over.
Now,
And it's
now,
like,
and
yeah,
now you got a Barcelona fan defending Man City. It
yes,
doesn't
and
work.
he's like, why will you remove Foden? He has been the best player for you. Yeah, but he will remove Foden to put the kid that scored the goal, and that kid has been magnificent for them. He's been scoring like crazy. His name is Mahmoud, I think, something. He's from Egypt. Yo, this kid, people will like soccer. Watch this kid. He knows how to score. He likes to score, and he has there's something we used to say back in Haiti, chance goal. He has that chance. Like the goals come to him.
Hmm.
So pay attention to that kid, I'm excited to see Egypt play. I don't know if it's in the World Cup or next Egypt game. I'm definitely catching it because I want to see him and Salah play together.
Mm. Oh.
I want to see him and Salah play together because he has that. There was an Italian player called Luca Toni. Luca Toni could not play soccer for shit. Like I like when I say people cannot play soccer, 'cause that's something I need to clarify. Because I got a lot of pushbacks from fans for past episode when I said Mbappe pas jouer football. When I say people don't know how to play soccer, doesn't mean that I am better than them. People that don't know how to play soccer. That's one. Two, when I say somebody don't know how to play soccer, there's a difference between somebody who knows how to play a sport and somebody who can play a sport. When you take Mbappe, I'm gonna take Mbappe right now is the center attacker. See, I'm not even gonna take a winger. I'm gonna take a center attacker to compare with Mbappe to prove my point. When you take Mbappe and you take Ronaldo, not Cristiano, the Brazilian Ronaldo, R9 knows how to play soccer. Because when you like Erling Allen, he doesn't know how to play soccer. He can score, he can run, he has strength in his leg, but have you ever seen Haaland make a dribble like to eliminate a defender and score? Mbappe can do that to a certain level, but leave the ball, and that was one of the issues Madrid had at the beginning of the season. Mbappe was trying to prove that he can play at Vinicius level. He's not at Vinicius level. Vinicius is more talented than him when it comes to um dribble, when it comes to passing, like the vision, when it comes to running with the ball and eliminating a defender to go into that box. Yes, Mbappe has a little bit of that, but not too much of it. So, and this is in that sense that say that Mbappe don't know how to play soccer. Mbappe can play soccer because obviously he can run, he can shoot. Like Mbappe is a wonderful attacker because he can score. He knows how to score. But put Mbappe one on one against somebody who can defend, it will be very difficult for him to eliminate this defender. But when you take Messi, when you take Ronaldinho, when you take Maradona, I did not grow up watching Maradona, but I watch highlights. When you take Maradona, you take Ronaldo or nine. Cristiano polished his craft to become a little bit better at that, but he did not start like that.
Not early on, no.
Not early on. When you take oh that Argentinian player, but if, I'm gonna put him on his list, but it's very very low. Batistuta, very very low on that list. So there are a guy who, how can I explain this? There are guy,
Is it like a huh?
well, I'm a say something that people will go crazy for, and I'm a stand by it. Robinho is a better soccer player, complete soccer player than Kylian Mbappe. Mm. Have you seen the talent that Robinho has?
I have, but like
I did not say he's a more accomplished soccer player than Mbappe. I say he's a better
I know.
soccer player than Mbappe.
That's why I'm trying to like, cause.
Di Maria is a
Mm-hmm.
better soccer player than Kylian Mbappe.
Mm-hmm. 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 I think this is an interesting conversation because it's like players bring the you have the skill set
Yes, that's
of
the word I was looking for, the skills.
soccer, and and there's like a comparison with the physical gifts that a player comes in the game with.
Hmm.
If we're talking skills, but then that's where I kind of see where it's like you can't say he doesn't know how to because he doesn't have the skill set in comparison to another player.
So, okay. Um,
Now, if we're talking like the mentality, like because the
I
skill
see what
set
you're trying to, I see
because
what you're saying.
because
Like,
the skill set will
okay.
expand your IQ and
Uh-huh.
mentality you have for the game because of your skill set. You when you're thinking the game out there, you know what you can do in certain situations, and you have the skill set to go and try these things. The players you mentioned that you put above Mbappe have a higher skill set than him, and that allows them to be able to do things when put in certain positions that he
Positions.
just cannot do. I still
So
wouldn't say that he can't play football. He's just
the
not as
reason why, the
talented
reason
as
why,
those other people.
okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why I say it like that, it's pettiness.
I know. I was gonna say that next. I was like, you also hate Mbappe. Not the same. You
It's
also
not it's not even hate. It's not even hate because that's not something. It's not like Killian is hearing me saying that about him. He
no,
doesn't
no,
even
no.
know I exist. It's more for his fans that are trying to tell me it's the next up after Messi and Ronaldo. It's not because he doesn't have that skill set. So people try to, if I will
That
say
doesn't
the
take away
two,
from his greatness either. Actually, I wouldn't
it
even.
doesn't take away from his greatness because he won a World Cup at 18.
Yeah,
That doesn't remove that from his palmarès.
he's not better than Zidane to me.
Well, it's two different
It's two
positions,
different positions, but I'm just saying,
but
like, just skill set
yes,
to skill set.
when we're taking greats in France, I'm not even gonna put Mbappe before Benzema if I'm taking great in
That's
France.
not a. That's not a crazy thing to say.
Benzema as a nine before when he first started, and don't get me wrong, Kylian can become that guy if he puts in the work. And I see it. I saw it in that City match. How he crossed, how he dribbled the defender to get to the goal. I was like, okay, I see you. That was like an FU directly to me. That
Hmm.
move
Hmm.
because I've been talking shit. That was an FU to me, and I'm like, okay, I see it. So if he puts in the work and he keeps learning how to go, if he works out with Vinicius, he had Neymar with him. If he took from Neymar, if he took from Messi, if it because usually when you train with players, you try to take. Well, me personally, when I was playing basketball, when I train with my in my teammates, I used to learn things that I did not have in my bag. I don't know how people go about things these days.
I feel like it's harder to do. That's harder to do in football than it is in basketball.
I don't think so
Yeah,
because
man, it's not
let
too
me tell you,
many
no,
that
the
can.
reason why I'm telling you I don't think so is I told everybody I don't know how to play soccer, but my whole family are good at soccer, and I have older cousins that are great, that are soccer greats. So when I was little, when they used to play, they used to teach me how to do certain things. So I can carry my own on a soccer field. I choose not to play soccer because I don't like playing it. I don't like the whole tackle aspect of it. So I prefer basketball where the game is physical, certainly, but I can like give that physicality back in basketball. Whereas in soccer, it's hard for me to slide and tackle and do all that. Like I prefer
Mhm,
playing basketball, in my opinion.
mhm.
But I learned from those guys when they used to come to my house every summer and play with me and teach me tricks. So
Yeah.
it is more difficult, but practice make perfect. And I'm pretty sure Mbappe when he was 18 will not have made that goal the way he did. He probably would have scored, but not that in that way.
Hmm.
That's like a very technical goal, the second goal that he did.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't get
But
me wrong.
that's why I'm like that's why I'm like, and I might kill me for saying this, but I feel like when it comes to talent,
Mhm,
there's three regions, in my opinion, when it comes to talent, where I'm just like baseline before a player gets the IQ of the game, and if they're like before IQ, before physical gifts, just the skill set of dribbling with the soccer ball, of ball control, just the technical stuff that you automatically, not even automatically, that you just where the place that you grew up playing soccer, that you just come in with, because not because this is something that you have to learn, no, because it's something you pick up, because that's
mhm,
how they teach you how to play, is South America.
mhm.
And France has had a lot of amazing players. Like, Europe has had a lot of amazing players, but my spirit can't give it to Europe quite yet.
So another reason why also I disagree a lot with Mbappe fans. Mbappe came couple years ago, he came out and said that European football is more like Europeans are more talented than South American and soccer.
Not true.
That was
Factually
blasphemous.
incorrect. Factually incorrect. I will not.
That was blasphemous,
Factually incorrect. And
bro.
and and Europe has had so many. That's not to take away nothing from European players. They have had some amazing players,
Oh, they
amazing
had they
talent.
had they had greats. They had
Great
Zinedine Zidane. You had David Beckham. You had Michael
man,
Ballack. I can name
man.
a
Thierry
bunch.
Henry.
Oh, Thierry Henry. You
The
had yo,
list
but if
the list is endless.
yes, but if we start with a South American name, bro.
Ronaldo.
Oh, you got the whole 11 of
Yeah,
Brazil
the
2002.
whole Brazil, the
The
generation of
whole the
miracles
whole
that
starting
was the
11.
Brazilians.
And you had a kid on the bench. That kid called Denilson, he was so good with the ball in his feet that if you we watch Brazil games, like full games, and that 2002 World Cup, every 76 like 80 minutes they put him on just to keep the ball, just to hold the ball. Like nobody could take the ball from him.
And
And
that's a,
if from
you
from
can't teach that.
from the 90s, like 19 when I started watching 1993, 1994 to 2006, I'd even go further and go around 2010. The whole Brazilian squad was just pure talent. Argentina, pure talent.
Oh, and I'm gonna say my hot take too. South America. I'm gonna finish my hot take. South America and
Yeah,
Africa, Africa, because a lot of African players get French citizenship, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm.
yeah.
That's
Because
all I'm gonna say
one of
on that topic.
one of when we look at Africa, couple of great attackers came from. Well, one of the guy that they say invented invented the whole fun on the field with the ball before a Maradona, before Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. I would say after Pele because I don't think he was playing. He played for PSG too. His name was Roger Mila.
I'd have
Is
to look him up.
Yeah, look into him. He's a African player that knew how to dribble.
Because and I also don't want this to be like a because yes there are more important skills in the game than being able to dribble and go past your defender in the sport of soccer. Yes,
No, there's definitely more than that.
there's more important skills. When I say like we're not calling Mbappe a bum, we're not.
No, I'm not.
He's
Definitely not. Again, I
he's not
said
saying but objectively objectively despite the career that he's had, he could be more skilled. That's not a crazy thing to say.
uh
And I
people
think to
people
play
always
devil's
come
advocate,
from my head.
uh,
I'm saying people always come from my head from Mbappe because I keep saying that he doesn't know how to play soccer. And guys, I need you guys to understand one thing. Every time you get pissed, every time you get angry about me
you
saying
love it.
that, it's me. It's like fueling me to keep saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
y'all player is just now starting to prove to me that he deserves to wear Real Madrid jersey.
That's and I have no comment. No comment. Yeah, no comment. It's not my team. It's not my battle. It's not my battle. It's not my battle.
Oh
Y'all
man.
in the comment sections, y'all can take that up with him. It's not my battle. Give me my hands are
But
up.
yo, there's something we did not talk about last time for on in football after
Mm,
the Super Bowl because we got so caught up talking about the game. I wanted to touch up on you. I wanted to just know because we both were produce music at a point of our life. How did you feel about the halftime show?
loved it.
You
Absolutely loved it.
okay? So
I
you don't have
understand.
any criticism?
I have criticisms like the it could have been longer and he could have played. There's a couple songs I was looking. There's a couple songs he could have played.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like not 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 too old, like cause SZA was obviously a performer. I like that they played all the stars. SZA was there. He could have played. Honestly, I feel like he could have played a couple of songs. He could have played Paramedic. I would have loved to have him play Paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he could have played Paramedic. He could have played King Kunta. He could have played 30 for 30. There's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of songs that I felt like could have added to the performance that would have helped her because I understood the message of the performance. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was insightful. It was thought provoking. It was all these things. But I also understand people's what you call it criticisms of it because at the end of the day, even if they don't want to hear the message, the crowd at a Super Bowl event is never gonna want to hear a thought provoking message, no matter who's on that stage. I'm glad Kendrick took the opportunity to relay this message through his Super Bowl performance through the album. It was
Mm-hmm.
good. Um, but at the end of the day, people aren't gonna care. People just want to be entertained, especially if it's like a crowd of majority. I'm not even gonna go there, but especially if the majority there already doesn't relate to your world or where you come from and the music you make in the first place, if you're not entertaining them, then they're not gonna care. Which for me it was the highlight of the thing of like hearing all people's complaints. At the end of the day, this is about entertainment and this is about escapism. If we're not being entertained, we don't care about a message.
Do and before I continue, guys, sorry. Earlier before I told you that African player's name was Roger Mila. Roger Mila was one of the great too, but the one that I was thinking about, his name is JJ Okocha. You can watch him. You will see how this guy is good with the soccer ball in his leg. But anyway, to come back to what we were saying, do you feel like he was a little bit too obsessed with the beef?
Well, Drake, uh, not really, because it was just a song. Like it was just the one song, and then he teased it in the
Oh,
middle of the performance.
but I see people pointing out a lot of things that
Yeah,
that little
like
things that he did.
The Serena Williams thing is like
Not even the Serena Williams part. I mean, I know it's a sports podcast, but the Super Bowl halftime show is still part of sports. So they were pointing out the fact that this dancer had the split hair. It was alluding to XXX,
I'm
XXX
not
I
gonna
don't believe.
I'm not even gonna look. It's
So
Kendrick. People,
honestly, I did not even know those stuff. You know me, man. I'm old now. I'm not focused on those
look,
new
I was watching all those some of it, yeah, like it could be there's good points to that, but sometimes people people be
reaching.
reaching.
Okay.
People be reaching when it comes to Kendrick, and that's coming from. Like, I've been a Kendrick fan for more than a decade at this point. Like I'm talking about like real Kendrick, like rigor. I'm not even gonna defend myself against you people. If you want to come at me for how much of a Kendrick fan I am, don't. I've been a Kendrick
Well,
fan for
I
a
am
long
too.
time. So
I've been a Kendrick fan since the album he had where he had the song High Power on it. That's one of
yeah,
my favorite
yeah.
songs, actually.
Since
Um,
high power,
yeah.
like since high power, since overly dedicated, since
Mm-hmm.
anyway, anyway. I understand. I can understand the messaging in Kendrick Lamar's songs as much as I can, but there are people out there who do too much reaching. I can understand if you and people saying that they focus too much on the Drake beef. It was one song, and he teased that one song. It was more about the message, the overall message of
Okay.
the entire like commentary against the state of America, America's view on Black culture and on Blackness. That was the messaging, and there are people who are like very conscious who are tired of that messaging just because they hate the messenger. Because Kendrick is a celebrity and he, in their eyes, isn't doing enough to help solve that problem, even though he keeps highlighting that problem year after year after year after year, and they're accusing him of profiting off that problem. It's a whole thing.
Well,
At the end of the day, my whole thing with it is it could have been longer, and they're at being a Kendrick fan for a long time, understanding the message he was trying to go for.
mhm.
There's even if, with him addressing the beef, he could have put 30 like there's songs on there that you could have placed on there that have appeal
Mhm.
and achieve your goal for you, which I felt like he could have done.
So, or where will you rank it in all the halftime show that you watch?
It's definitely not the worst. Like people saying it was the worst
No,
performance of
it's not
all
the worst for
time. It's
me. It's
not the
not the
worst.
worst for me. The worst for me is and I hate to do this. It was J Lo and
That was
I think
bad.
she played with
The J Lo was that the J Lo Shakira one?
yeah, J Lo Shakira. Yeah. For
That one wasn't the worst one. The Adam
well,
Levine
for
one,
me,
that there was an Adam Levine one. People could like look this up. It was
well,
Adam
see,
Levine and a bunch of other performers, and it was like the stage was barely made, and it was like a platform, and it was just a crowd on the. It was bad. I hated that one.
see that one. I probably did not even watch that one because the name you said I don't even know one of his
He a
songs.
pop singer.
Yeah, so that's not me at all.
Yeah, that.
The best one for me, and it's probably an act of nostalgia, is the Dr. Dre one.
Really.
Yeah. So
I was
for
gonna say the
well,
Kingpin.
you guys know me, Eminem, Lil Wayne till the end. But that Dre one, I really like it. For me, that was the best one so far. I don't think anyone has. And again, I said that it's probably because of nostalgia.
Yeah, I mess with
So,
the
and
West Coast when
one
they
thing,
did. That was a
I
good
had that
time.
debate with my best friend that's in music and that's a Lil Wayne fan as much as me, a trouble boy again. He's a fan of the podcast. He always watch us. So I was telling him I would have preferred having Lil Wayne in Louisiana, and he was like, "Nah, he preferred having Kendrick because he doesn't think Lil Wayne has that much." Okay, to use his word, he was like, "Yo, Lil Wayne, Finny boy, I don't think Lil Wayne can do that." But I don't believe that. I think Lil Wayne could have carried his own on a Super Bowl
Yeah,
halftime show.
I think because I in the beginning I was like I don't. The only reason I was gonna say I don't want Lil Wayne is because there's a lot of songs that he could perform, but it goes to the same thing where it's like I don't know, because thinking about it now, I really think I could be wrong on this, but I feel like there's like certain songs that Lil Wayne would play, and it just wouldn't hit the same, but it would only connect to a select people in the crowd, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
yeah, yeah.
exact same thing Kendrick did, but Kendrick did it intentionally. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because when he played the Drake this song, the crowd was like, "Hey, minor!" Like everybody was
Yeah,
in the
everybody
crowd
was
was
in the.
saying that. So if the goal was to be purely entertaining and play the songs that everybody knows, he could do that
Yeah, he
because
could
he
have.
has
He
that
could
talent.
have. He could have done that.
Done that.
But
But like with Lil Wayne, I feel like he could do that, but only to a certain point. Because there's not, especially, and this is my recency bias too going about it. He
but I
recently
think
too, he's not releasing anything new that's like so it would just be older catalog, which there's nothing wrong with. I could turn up to
yeah,
six for
but
Seven
I
all
I
day.
think that Lil Wayne will have probably come with those what I forgot the name they were rapping under when he first started, but Juvenile will have come on with Back That Ass
Hmm.
Up. and you probably will have had Drake come on with probably he will have played some Young Money with Drake. You probably will have gotten a Nicki Minaj appearance.
Yeah,
I think it
it
could
would have
have
been
worked.
entertaining. I'm not saying it
Yeah,
would.
it would
It
have
would
been
have been
entertaining.
entertaining, but I don't know.
But
I
I mean, we'll see. So, the reason I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I realized actually that we never talk about it. So now we're gonna move into basketball. Last week we were planning on discussing the NBA deal with Manchester to play over there for a few games,
hmm
but we did not have the chance to talk about it.
hmm
So, how do you feel about that?
Well, I fans of the podcast have known that I've been preaching and saying over and over again that the NBA should look to expand to other countries, and that I want to see something to the tune of um, all the professional basketball leagues worldwide
Mm-hmm.
upping their standards or having a standard similar to a Champions League or a La Liga,
Mm-hmm.
where after you play the season in your league, you're competing against the best team from the best league overseas. And then
Mm-hmm.
you could determine who the best team and ultimately who the best league is. I've been yeah, so yeah, I've been in support of that idea for a long time. I feel like this is a step to go towards that, but not in the way that I would have liked, because to me this feels like the because every season the NBA would in the preseason the NBA would host these games. If you're a fan of the NBA, you know that sometimes they would have basically that I call it the NBA World Tour, where they go to
Yeah.
China and they go to like some countries in Europe and they play these games, not against these European teams, but against other NBA teams. They're just playing in
Mm-hmm.
a different country so that those
Just like
people,
the NFL does
yes,
during the regular season.
yes, yes. So it just be a showcase of the product to a different country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with that, but I don't have an issue with that from the standpoint of the game is expanding overseas. I have an issue with that from the standpoint of by now in 2025, the world knows what the NBA product is. The world has known what the NBA product is since the 90s. At this point, you shouldn't be looking to expand the product to all these other countries as is, because in the United States currently, your product is struggling. And
It is flawed in the US.
yeah, flawed based off the enjoyment of the consumers within the country of origin of where your product resides. You have an issue there. There's a disconnect there where you're trying to placate so much to the overseas crowd, where even it, the overseas crowd too has been concerning me, specifically the EuroLeague, because I'm seeing attempts to copy the NBA, and I'm very anti copying the NBA, even though it is a lucrative business and a profitable business at the end of the day. The overall feel of the game as a fan overseas, specifically the
Mm-hmm.
EuroLeague, the culture of basketball overseas. When I say this, I'm specifically only talking about the EuroLeague right now, but there's other leagues as well, like the Canadian League, the league in Australia, the CBA. Those leagues, they have their own flavor, if that makes sense. They have their own identity. They have their own, I call it the subculture of basketball, or not even subculture, not to be disrespectful, but the culture of basketball. I
Mm-hmm.
want that to remain intact. I just want those leagues to be elevated to NBA notoriety without the flawed parts of the NBA, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So from the Manchester thing, it feels like a promo move to me. Like I understand it. I understand it, an expansion of the league, but it's just not. It didn't happen in the way that I wanted, for real. Because
So,
yeah, yeah, it didn't happen the way.
um, what I think about it, me personally, is, and I hate doing this comparing two different sports, but sometimes things happen in one that make me think about the other. Um, a lot of people. I'm gonna bring a little bit wrestling into it. A lot of people gave when Vince McMahon was still in charge, a lot of people gave him flack for bringing WWE to Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of those going to Saudi, you will see the match list. You got Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement to
Mm-hmm.
wrestle. You got Undertaker wrestling Goldberg. Like matches that don't make sense for you, like matches that you will be excited to see as a kid, but as an adult, you're like, why two grandpa or wrestling? Like basically, that's what it looks like because they couldn't even carry their own. And so, but the reason it happened was because of money, obviously, because the princes over there, they were children wanting to see those matches.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, they could not see those matches because obviously we did not see them. They were not airing on TV. Now they got the money and they make an offer Vince could not refuse because you got Shawn Michaels saying that I will never come out of retirement, and he came out of retirement with Triple H to face The Undertaker and Kane in a match. That's a match that you would love to see as a kid, but as for one man, like for older men, because I'm what 33, those guys are probably in their 60s, wrestling, risking hip injury and all that. But you understand that the level of money that they give them, they could not say no. So I know that the NBA is trying right now everything they can to bring viewership. And viewership is like they losing money in terms of commercials not airing. They are not making that much money because if I have a product right now, I'm going to negotiate with the NBA. I'm not gonna pay the amount of money they want me to pay. Don't get me wrong, the NBA is still the NBA, but I know for a fact they don't have as much viewers as they had back in the day. And for example, All-Star Weekend, any commercial that aired also, I remember also Weekend give us the Kia commercial with LeBron, the whole
Mm-hmm.
fit for a king thing. So right now, you're not getting those type level of commercial because people are not watching like that. So they need to branch out to other countries where people are willing to put that money for them to get some revenue. And I feel like that is a purely that move is purely not to extend the league, but purely to bring money into like the viewing of the product.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why the move was made. It's not really in terms of, yo, we want to see how we can put either a team there or expand the league and get. It's more like, yo, they're not watching us in the US. Let's see if we can get those viewers, those views in England, and see if we can branch out to other cities. I think that's all. That's what's happening over there
And
right now.
it's a shame too because I feel like I don't know. I don't want to speak for Adam Silver because because if you ask me, he catches a lot of flack for certain things that he can't control. I'm not gonna sit here and say I enjoyed every single decision he's made, but I understand like every decision that he has made has come from a good place in trying to navigate a product that is getting harder and harder to maintain because as basketball fans we are spoiled and the players that are currently playing too the I'm just gonna flat out say it. There's not a lot of them who really care about this like they used to, man. There's
Mhm.
not a lot of them who care. To some of them, they just clock in and clock out the way I'm clocking in and clocking out. They love the lifestyle, but they don't love basketball. Or better yet,
You know
they
what
don't tolerate what comes with professional basketball, like the cameras, the reporters, and all that. They don't have the same. They don't
let me
tolerate it the same way that they used to,
let me tell you this
and
though.
that's
You
fucking
know
problem.
what caused that?
Not
You know
LeBron.
what caused that? Something like the Luka trade. That's what caused that. Because if I like me personally, like I used to be the type of worker that will go above and beyond for a company, and then whenever I needed that company, what I got was a pink slip. So if I'm doing all of this, putting my all for a team, doing everything for a city, and then in my sleep I could be traded. Why I'm not gonna treat that like a 9 to 5? At the end of the day, you
Hmm.
treat it like a business, I'm gonna treat it like a business too.
Hmm. And that's a part of it. So and I can't fault Adam Silver for doing that, but at the same time, um, if you want to leave a legacy behind of really growing the sport internationally and really doing something for the sport, forget the NBA for a second. You got to like piggyback off what was already done in Africa, where they have the African Basketball League, which I follow the Instagram account. I unfortunately I cannot catch all the games, but
Hmm.
they drafted a player. A player was drafted to the NBA from that league. That to me, if you want to grow the game, obviously you fix the issues you have with viewership in the states, but then additionally, you work to expand the game overseas even more from that standpoint, where you'll have a subsidiary league of the NBA, or you're collaborating with a EuroLeague or an NBL or
Hmm.
CBA to
Hmm.
to create an improved environment that breeds even more talent. Because I feel like that was the goal with, because you have Yao Ming right now. Yao Ming, one of the greatest NBA basketball players of all time from China. He's
Hmm.
the last I checked. I might have to check again. He's the commissioner of the CBA.
The
Like he's
African basketball,
no of the Chinese Basketball Association.
Chinese basketball. Okay,
Like
Chinese. Okay.
he's top dog over there. And then with the African Basketball League, I know Luol Deng had a huge hand in the creation of that league, on top of all the things that he's done for African basketball as a whole. So it's like you have these members, these NBA alumni doing their part, and I just feel like if I'm Adam Silver, I'm doing more to that. Like that's how I'm choosing to grow the game globally. Instead of let's shove the NBA in this country, let's shove the NBA in this country, let's put the NBA in front of these people. Let's do this. Like we don't. I don't feel like we have to do that anymore because of the stuff that Michael Jordan and the Dream Team were able to accomplish, and because of what the draft classes like the 2003 draft class were able to do post Dream Team, with the 2008 Redeem Team and the dominance of Team USA worldwide and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and like all these players that the league has already had in these other places. We don't have to constantly shove the NBA product in these people's faces. We should be inspiring those countries, and we should be helping those professional leagues grow further, because if they grow further, then it grows the game further. Because I don't know, my vision for the sport of basketball as a viewer and as a fan of the sport who really loves this is, I don't want the, like, I know people take pride in having the NBA be the best league and be the place that has the best talent and the best this and the best that. I want there to be where the NBA is not the only place to go.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I.
Yeah, because when you look at it, and I wanna say no thoughts and prayers too. He did not die, people. He just had surgery to love a ball. He had one of his leg amputated. But when you think about Lavore, his dream was for his three sons to play basketball, and it's not for lack of talent. Because I know Jello could play. If he could not play, he would have not been at that level, but it's just a mistake that he made. And next thing you know, he could not play basketball anymore. He had to go into the entertainment industry. And I saw something today making fun of him, saying that his performance at the All-Star weekend was the most he spent on an NBA court. That it was funny, but it still was sad because the guy came to us as a basketball player and now he's a rapper. So, if there was other options, and his own brother told him, "Yo, go play overseas because
Yeah,
you don't have the
because
chance in the of the
you're
NBA
gonna
anymore."
waste so much time getting chances in league,
Yeah.
and then that piggy. I'm so happy you said that, because that piggybacks off the biggest complaint I've had all year with the G League and NBA basketball, wasting talented players who should have a roster spot because the league refuses to expand. And these players, who rightfully so, because they're American, going overseas to a country that you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you don't know anything, to go play for a national team, at first, to like a young 18-year-old or to a young NBA player, that's uncomfortable. So obviously they're gonna go through the grind to try to get back to the NBA and try to get a
Hmm.
roster spot that way. And
Hmm.
they're gonna
Hmm.
put up numbers in the G League. They're gonna hit their prime. There's players who hit their prime in the G League.
So that kind of to prove your point, we have Isaiah Thomas right now killing it in the G League.
Yeah, but he's at that point. I just feel
Uh,
like he's not gonna get up. He's not gonna get the. If he gets a roster,
no,
it's not
mm-mm.
gonna be
That's
like
to me, Isaiah putting those numbers in the G League is like Messi killing it at Inter Miami right now. I don't think Messi's gonna go back to to European football. Then again, um, it's the same thing for Isaiah. Just
he
be
would have had
content.
like and Isaiah Thomas. I also say that because for years I used to be like, oh, these players say they could play basketball anywhere, but they when you say go pro overseas, suddenly they get cold feet and they're only looking at the NBA. And it's I just that's because I didn't have enough empathy to understand that you're leaving your family, you're leaving like there's overseas basketball takes a lot of sacrifice, and overseas basketball, if you're not a notable player, even though you can have a solid career overseas, let's say like you're like the 11th man. The 11th man overseas in Europe is not gonna make what the 11th man in the NBA is making. It's come two.
Mhm.
You're getting two different opportunities, and
Yeah, of
that's
course.
and when I say overseas, I'm not just talking about EuroLeague, which is like for me, in my opinion, the next best thing when it comes to payment for professional players. I'm talking like shoot Mexico, like Mexico Professional League. I'm talking places where they have professional basketball, but the funds and notoriety and the things you're going to be getting over there, it's not the same. Like you could build a career there,
Definitely no
but
one
every
that's gonna be
year,
the same.
exactly. So every year, the sacrifices you choose to make to go play over there, they mean more. So after
Mhm.
understanding that, that's where my like viewpoint of like wanting
Yeah,
international basketball to have that extra boost because it
but
can't.
I think if we can get those leagues more viewership, they probably will can get to a point where they probably won't be able to offer a player NBA money, but they can get paid a little bit better
Yeah,
because everything comes to the like you have to have clients viewing your product for you to be able to afford employees. So
yeah, and that's why I
that's what
love
it comes
I
to.
love FIBA basketball. I like don't take away my citizenship. I'm okay when America loses in international basketball. Like I love it when a team gives them a run. Like where
Yeah.
and I know it's Kevin Durant, it's Steph Curry, it's LeBron James, it's the Dream Team.
Uh-huh.
We're not supposed to lose. I know, but I love watching like when Nigeria played them. I loved it when what you call it, Jordan Clarkson's team, when the Philippines play him. I love
Philippines,
that.
yeah.
And then
They
there's a movement too with players saying, "Hey, I'm gonna try to get this dual citizenship, and I'm gonna try to see if I can play for my country of
oh
origin." Kyrie
for
Irving,
another, yeah.
Kyrie Irving's trying to get Australian citizenship so he could be on the Australian roster.
Honestly, yep,
And
yeah.
I'm like, that's what's up. Like, do that, yeah. And then Joel
Yeah.
Embiid is giving the worst of himself to his home country. Sure,
To come.
to Cameroon, sure, fine, whatever. But like, just
But
to grow the game. Oh, and speaking of players who are overseas because they didn't get an opportunity in the league, Kenny Lofton Jr. I want to shout out Kenny Lofton Jr. He was drafted, got buckets in the NBA, was shafted, was never given the opportunity he truly deserved. Kenny Lofton Jr. should be on a roster spot in the league. I don't care what anybody says. We got worse players in the league. We got worse players in Bronny's draft. Playing.
mhm.
Kenny Lofton Jr. should have a roster spot in the league, and he's killing it in he's killing it for the Shanghai. People make so many memes about the Shanghai Sharks, but he's killing it for the Shanghai Sharks right now. And he has his own shoe over there. He's in
Nice.
commercials over there. He's a
Ooh,
star player over there. Kenny Lofton
okay,
is
okay.
building a career and he's making something for himself over there. And
That's
for
good.
me,
That's always good to
that,
hear.
that's good to hear because that's what it should be. That's personally, if I understand that, like, it's good that the league is exclusive and not many people can go there. That's sure, but it shouldn't be the only option that's respected. It shouldn't be the only option that respected, and it shouldn't be the only option that like where you say I'm a professional basketball player. It should mean
Mm.
something. it should mean something. Where it's like I had a professional career. Like I love it when I see professional coaches on Instagram, and then you
Hmm.
look at their credentials, and they're like, I was a 13-year pro overseas. I played for this country, this country, this country, this country. I love that because it's like you're still training NBA basketball players at the end of the day. You're still training. You're still training notable people at the end of the day. You
Let me
still
ask
have
you
to
this.
work in the NBA as a trainer, as a coach, as something. You still have that avenue, so you warrant that same respect.
Let me
And
ask you this. That guy on IG, his name is Little Shooter.
yep,
Was he ever in the NBA or the G League? Did he play professional basketball?
I don't think he played professional basketball because I think he dealt with some injuries, but I'm pretty sure he was like I think he was a professional overseas, if I'm not
This
mistaken.
guy is a killer, man, with a shot.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a
and
killer.
so it's like you never know what stops you from making to the league, whether it's politics, injuries, or lack of opportunity. But I feel like more than ever before, we need to put some respect on overseas basketball and allow that part of it to grow. Even in NBA 2K back in the day, that back when you could play international teams and stuff, Luca was a 67 overall in
Hmm.
2K.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
He was EuroLeague MVP at 18.
Oh, he's a 67.
That's what I'm saying. Like just that from media to NBA to everything. The way we view overseas basketball could be changed. It could be much better. And if that improves, the sport as a whole improves
Will
and
improve,
the
yeah.
NBA as a whole is going to be forced to improve. If you're a program in the United States, if you look at overseas basketball constantly, like they're already scared of that now with the Lucas, with the Jokic's, they already have that fear. But like down the line, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like you got to train these kids differently. You got to change the basketball programs differently because now you're competing with the world to get them to the NBA, so that you got to defend the NBA's reputation now. Is what I'm saying.
So that allows us to transition into, can an international player be the face of the NBA?
Yes,
So
yes,
they say I think who didn't agree with that?
it was one of them. It was either
One of them, yeah.
it was either
What was
Shaq
it?
or
But
Charles Barkley. No, Stephen A. Stephen
Stephen
A.
A. That was Stephen
I
A.
can't
Stephen A.
stand.
said no.
I can't stand Stephen A. for that, man. Because it's
But
just
I mean, why cannot why?
because like why? Because
Because
why
he's
not?
American?
I don't know.
I mean, if there's no American player in that level, why cannot an international player be the face of the league? Like,
If it was a
I,
conversation of like, would they want to? I think the answer to that question would be then no, they wouldn't want to.
but they're pushing Luka to be.
They are, but but the thing about Luca is he's one of those few players that I feel like he would be okay with being the face of the league. You get what I'm
Yes, he
saying?
will. I don't
Because
think Jokic will be okay with that. Jokic don't care, but I think Luka will love it.
yeah, I don't think Jokic would. Jokic don't want it. Jokic want to go back to he want to go back home and take care of his horses at the end
All
of
his
every season.
horses, that's all he cares about. But
And then
I think Luka can actually be the face of the league.
yeah, he can.
Why? I don't know, man. Why is that an issue? Like,
He's
why
playing.
people?
And they've set him and they've already set him up to be that because he's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers on top of
Exactly.
on
And there
top of
was a
his
major trade involving his name where the sole purpose of that trade was to put him in a position to be the next face of the league.
yeah. And it's like you have players like Anthony Edwards saying like he doesn't want it, and to me that's like Carmelo said something where it's like you
Edmund
can't
has a
say
lot of
that.
issues off the court, bro. He has a
Yeah,
lot of things
but
to
that
figure out
but
off the court.
but even then, I want to be like that shouldn't be a thing to stop you from being the face of the league because we had a player. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but there, even though there were better players in the league than Allen Iverson at one point in his career was the face of the NBA,
Of course he was.
and the man was going to strip clubs with bags of cash in the Sprinter.
Yo, AI made people change the whole
Dress code.
league image, the whole dress code, the whole persona. AI made bread school. Yo,
He
that
made arm sleeves cool. He made tattoos cool. He was the
tattoo
face of the league at
school.
one point. So
Yes.
Anthony Edwards doesn't want to be the face of the league in this era. Fine, because your life is always in the public, and anything you make and do like is gonna be put against you, and this, that, and the third. Fine, fine. But
Talking about
his personality won't allow him to not. That's the problem. The problem is it's in his nature to be the face of the league. Like, it's in his nature, the way that he acts. It's in his nature to be the face of the league, which is why they want him to be that. But he's not gonna want it. John Morant, it's past for him. We already done talked
no,
about
no,
John.
no,
He
no, no
can't be
more
the face
John.
of the league anymore. It should have been Zion a couple years ago, but his health and him just not being available on the court stopped him. So they like we
It
should have
should
been
have
had a
been
face of the league
AD
by now.
at a point. It should have been AD at a point. They were pushing AD.
Never in my
When
years.
they traded for him in the Lakers, I think that was the plan.
Nah, I didn't even see that because even then he had like injury issues and it was to me that was just a big trade. I never saw AD as
It's
like
not even the big trade. I think LeBron wanted him to be the next up. Like,
Giannis, in my opinion, was getting a chance to be the face of the league, and the league moved away from him after he
yeah,
won
yeah, I
the championship.
decided because he had a whole movie, the whole Disney movie. He had
Yep,
everything. He had a whole of thing.
yep.
He had a whole thing.
They were pushing
And
his
guys, the
tweets.
viewership, you guys should watch that movie. That is a very, very good movie to watch. And I think, thanks again to my older brother that put me on.
Hmm.
That's a very, very good movie to watch.
Yeah, and then like Steph and LeBron were the face of the league at one point because LeBron just played. Like, there's a lot of another thing too. LeBron played in the NBA for so long, he stopped a lot of players from being the face of the league because he's
I think without the Golden State move, KD could have been.
yeah. Yeah, but at that point, it was Steph. It was Steph. I feel like
It was, yeah, it was Steph.
KD became the face of the league too. KD became the face of the league in my opinion when he was still in OKC. Like when he was when he did that MVP speech and stuff. That's where they had him. They were positioning him to be the face of the league. There's been a lot of heads. Like, I don't want this to be like a thing where you get the crown and you keep it for so many years. No,
No,
it
no, no, no.
changes. It
It
changes
changes.
more and more and more the more years go by. Right now, international players who could be the face of the league, Victor Wembanyama, I could see that. I could see him being the
If you
face of the
stay,
league.
if you stay on the path that he is, yes.
Yep, I see him being the face of the league. Luca, obviously, at this point in his career. Um,
I think Jokic, whether he wants it or not.
no, because there's certain have you seen Jokic in a commercial yet?
I think I saw him in one. Oh, that was for that movie, Minions.
Yeah.
Only.
What about
Yeah, that's the only thing. Only
anything
thing.
else?
Nah, nah. It
There
was only in the
you
Minions
have
thing.
to be like there's a certain level of involvement you have to have, and Jokic
You
is
have to
very much
have,
like
yeah.
I'm just here. Jokic is like Kate.
Oh, yo,
Jokic is
there's somebody we've been passing over. Although I hate his name, but Jason
cool.
Tatum.
Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to me can't be the face of the league.
Why?
Because he's the Tim Duncan of small forwards. Nothing against. It's the same reason why Kawhi can't be the face of the league either.
Personality.
Yeah, and then that's not to say Jason Tatum is boring, but Jason Tatum is like
I
he's
mean, he
about.
is boring.
No, he's not boring. He's
Yo,
just
the most excited thing I heard about Jason Tatum was that he has beef with Steve Kerr, and
no, because
that is real beef.
no, I guess, but I say that he's not boring because it's obvious there's a side to Jason Tatum's personality that he doesn't show everybody because to him that's not his brand. Perfect example of that.
Oh, okay.
I encourage every viewer to go watch the podcast with Jeff Teague when he had Jason Tatum on because Jeff Teague spent some time in Boston and that's how he became cool with Jason Tatum. You will see Jason Tatum's personality on that podcast.
Personality. Okay.
You will see it, and it was after, and it didn't even take that long because he went on the Knuckleheads podcast. Jason Tatum did his podcast tour, so I've seen enough of Jason Tatum's personality when he's comfortable to understand that no, this isn't a boring person. This is just a nonchalant person who's like me. He doesn't. He's not acting out unless you bother him, and he's not
Yeah.
fully
Yeah.
comfortable with you unless he knows you. Like
Mm-hmm.
his full personality isn't something for the public, and he's not the only player who's like that. Even though he's super talented, he's like that. Kawhi's like that. Tim Duncan was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic is like that right now. Even Giannis will tell you the reason Giannis will never leave Milwaukee is because Milwaukee's a place where the fans respect you enough to let you still be a person, and they don't just run up
Mm-hmm.
on you with cameras and expect you to be an NBA player all the time. They respect you they respect you enough to give you time with your family and time to be an individual. So I'll even throw Giannis in there, even though they tried to like out of all the international players besides Luka, he was the one that they really pushed as being a potential face of the league. So yeah, I there's certain personality type that we just haven't seen yet that you gotta have. That realistically, I blame Zion for wholeheartedly because most hype player from high school, college since LeBron, and you get to the league, that's for a 6 to 7 year period, you should have been the face of the league, and he just wasn't.
Mm. So, last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up, and actually, guys, I'm gonna put on a little treat for you guys. But last thing I want to wrap up before, right? Last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is how do you feel about JJ's coaching so far?
He's got Luca on the team.
Before Luka, bro, before Luka.
He's got Luca
Yeah, he
on the
only
team.
had Luka for 4 games,
He's got Luca on the team. The man. He
and
had to stop
Luka
himself.
only became Luka last night.
He had to stop himself from smiling so much because he looked over to the thing and he saw Luca in uniform and he had to be like, no. I had to.
Oh, come on, man. I think he's doing a very good job. I'll give him a B plus.
I'll give him his credit. I'll give him his credit, but yeah, because what's I like the fact that he's actually coaching. Every time you see them call
Mhm,
a timeout, every time you see them, anytime you see the team playing something, or anytime you look over at the bench, they just either talking with the coaching staff or he's in a huddle with the players and they're going over what action they want out of this timeout. What are they looking for? Like it's not the keep going hard on them dudes. Like it's not. It's a different feel. Even though they're still in my opinion they're still figuring it out and they're still a middle of the pack team. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the Lakers are this amazing team, fantastic team. To me, they're still a very mediocre, middle of the pack, mid team. Um,
so,
they have a lot of promise. Like they're carrying a lot of positive momentum with them right now. And the game they had against Denver, because I said I want to see them play Denver.
mhm,
Luka on the roster to win the game by 23 and you have Austin Reeves, Luca, and LeBron playing well,
the big three,
With Luca being the one that's like the
the
the best
the
player.
maestro.
That's what
The
you want. And to get
Yes.
that, Luca has to be healthy. So if Luca's healthy, then they have a lot of good things to look forward to, with a little more roster construction.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I'm as a Laker, well, LeBron ergo Laker fan. I think he's very very solid. He's doing good things. So I will give him again a B plus. He's doing good. So again we hit the like
We hit
hour
the mark.
mark a little bit hour. But before I go, I'm gonna show a couple of highlights of that guy I was talking about
Oh,
for the
not
fans.
to cut you off, but I do have to answer my
Good.
door and attend to some business real quick.
Oh, okay. So guys, we'll see those highlights next week then.
Yeah, I'm
We're
so
gonna have to
sorry,
wrap up.
people.
No problem, guys. No problem, man.
Yeah.
So again, guys, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for watching the TimeOut podcast. So we'll catch you up on the next one. Ali, I'll talk to you this week, and everybody have a good week, man. Peace.
Peace.
All right.